Would it be right to say that India is being looked at as a sweet spot, a safe place for investments, given especially the complex global environment, especially around trade and frequent geopolitical changes?
Absolutely. And if you look at the cornerstone of Indian economy, it's a very domestic consumption based economy. So that insulates it a bit with all that's happening around us in the world. Right? Indian core foundation of growth comes from its demographic profile, which is strong, stable, and is bound to explode both with the young population and per capita income increasing and consumption base increasing. So that's a very stable platform, right? On top of it, there's an opportunity which could completely exponentially change the trajectory if we can get the international business right in terms of export competitiveness, readiness, and in a turbulent time where people are looking at diversification of supply chain and really resilience in terms of business. India does provide as a very strong beacon of hope from a long-term point of view.
The recent push on several trade deals which have already been accomplished, and quite apart from the US trade deal, there is the likelihood of a EU trade deal now, and will be a very significant one. Do you think that will help our export push and kind of take away from some of the negative impacts of the 50% US tariffs?
So if you look at exports out of India account for only 20% odd of our GDP. Right, so that's I think the fact one. The fact two is India has 200 plus trading partners, with no nation being more than 20%. So we have a very diversified trade base, right? That is
so if one takes a hit, the other cushions.
That cushions us well. And I think the recent FTAs that have already been signed, whether it is with UK or with Australia or with UAE, they already are very good examples of what can be struck bilaterally and provide great opportunity of being on even keel with others. And fingers crossed, if the EU trade deal comes up, it'll be a great opportunity as well. But I think overall, what I wanted to say was with our strong domestic base and with diversified trade partners, right? I think one or two nations don't swing the needle. I think it's how we manage the broader global context and keep strong bilateral relationships with many that will count.
After COVID, we saw one massive disruption in global supply chains. Companies and other stakeholders started realigning. Now with the tariffs, there is another shock to that whole supply chain system. Is the system coping up? And from an Indian perspective, are there any bright spots you see in terms of supply chain realignments that are underway?
So firstly, if you look at all the board conversations and CEO conversations, I think resilience has become central to strategy. Right? People have moved from only thinking about economies of scale and cost efficiency to actually resilience in business and continuity of business. And as a result, people are willing to move from just in cost supply to steadiness of supply, and everybody is looking at and it's not just COVID. It's been a slew of incidents, whether it is wars, whether it is tariffs. Now in between there were shortage of certain raw material like chips. So most CEOs, most companies want to have business continuity, and for us it bodes quite well. And if you look at what it has done already in many industries where we had a starting advantage, we are beginning to, you look at electronics for example, we have garnered very good share. Of course it's a start and there's a long way to go, but I think we are well placed and I am quite optimistic about this.